आपका गारंटी है ना कोविड नहीं दोगे? हाँ? Yes, good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for coming. It's been a long time since we met, so I thought we'll have a press conference and brief you about what happened in our Politburo meeting. Well, the first issue is that post the developments in Bihar and the change in the government there, and with the Mahagathbandhan government assuming office, activities among the opposition parties in order to bring together some sort of a broader coming together of secular and democratic parties to take on the challenge today to safeguard the Indian Constitution, democracy, democratic rights, and India's economic sovereignty. This process has got a new momentum, and the Politburo decided that we'll make all efforts and join in this larger, broadest possible mobilization of secular forces against Hindutva, communalism, and against this Hindutva agenda. So that we have decided, and therefore this process will continue now, and I'm sure it will take a concrete form and shape in various states depending on the different political parties who are the dominant party in each state. So the effort would be to first to forge these sort of understandings and arrangements at the state level, like it always happens in India. And and on that basis we proceed, and in every state the dominant secular democratic force will take the lead in doing it, like it happened in Tamil Nadu, like it will happen now in various other places. So that is the first decision that has been taken. The second issue that we discussed was the overall decline and the economic, virtually the slowdown, leading to a recession of the Indian economy. We are no longer in stagflation. It is now reaching a recessionary point, with the industry and manufacturing also declining very sharply in July, and this is leading to further contraction of jobs. Already the unemployment situation is the worst that we've had in many, many decades now. The NCRB, the report has shown that the largest number of suicides in 2021 was among the daily wage workers. And in this situation, with the unemployment going to worsen, along with inflation continuing to be rampant, the wholesale price index has been high for 17 months now. The retail prices have breached the RBI ceiling of 6% for the 8th consecutive month. Now, with this situation of runaway inflation, growing unemployment over an already bad situation, it is no longer stagflation, but it's moving towards the recessionary conditions with the fall in your industrial output, particularly manufacturing output. So in this background, the Central Committee had already given a call for a protest campaign and protest actions all over the country by the CPIM between the 14th and the 24th of September. In many states they have begun, and this will take various forms, different forms, somewhere Rasta Roko, Rail Roko, whatever be the forms that will be worked out at the state level, culminating in a state level rally, a public rally or a public meeting at the state capital. So this is the protest action plan that we have worked out as a party. Various mass organizations like the agricultural labor, Kisan Sabhas and the trade unions, they have jointly given a call at a convention that was held recently. So you will find big working people's actions all over the country that are going to be unleashed. The Politburo also expressed concern over the attacks on women, the rising crime against women, and particularly the recent two Dalit women found hanging after now reportedly horrific gang rape and murder in Uttar Pradesh, continues to confirm that this state is completely moving into a degree of lawlessness, and the security of women is actually hitting the nadir. Finally, on tomorrow, that is 17th of September, is the anniversary of the day in which the Nizam of Hyderabad surrendered and the state of Hyderabad, erstwhile princely state of Hyderabad, became part of the Indian Union. Now the BJP, as its practice, is distorting history, rewriting history, by claiming this to be a liberation day. And the whole thrust is to aim at creating further communal polarization, saying this is liberation from a Muslim ruler, from the Muslim rule, and therefore to use this as the liberation day. What is the actual history? Much before 1948, for 2 years before this, the Communist Party of India then had launched a massive armed rebellion against the brutal oppressive landlordism that was practiced under the Nizam. It's famously called the Telangana armed struggle. And this armed struggle of the peasantry, which continued till 1951, for 5 years, it liberated nearly thousands of villages where lands were confiscated from the landlords, distributed amongst the people who were the real tillers, and was actually a liberated zone with Gram Pramukhs and people's rule established there for more than 3 years during the course of the struggle. This had undermined the authority and made the Nizam's rule untenable. The police action, that is called Operation Polo, that was launched in September 13, 1948. That was the last straw on the back because Nizam was already collapsing. And this police action, which came in within 4 days, the Nizam surrendered, and Hyderabad became part of the Indian Union. But the Indian Army stayed on there till 1951. They stayed on there till the Communist Party of India officially withdrew that armed struggle in that background after a lot of discussions that took place in India and with the international communist movement also. And that after the communists withdrew, that is when the Indian Army left. That is, the target was to ensure that there won't be a communist rule after the Nizam left. And in order to prevent a communist takeover in Hyderabad, the Indian Army stayed on. This is actually recorded history. And this history is now sought to be distorted by claiming that this is a liberation from the Muslim rule. And again, Hindu-Muslim polarization, which is exactly what their fascistic politics is all about. But strangely, today they announced that the birthday of Raja Hari Singh will be a public holiday because he was a benevolent ruler. As the king of the Dogra Empire of Jammu and Kashmir, Raja Hari Singh refused to join India at the time of independence. He wanted to remain independent. It is only when the Pakistani raiders came in that he requested the Indian army to go. The Indian army goes in there like it went in Hyderabad also. And it's only after that that Raja accedes to India, and on certain conditions, and all of us know, Article 370, etc., that is come. But Raja Hari Singh is a hero, and therefore his birthday will be a public holiday, because he is a Hindu Raja. The Nizam is a Muslim, so therefore it's liberation from the Muslim rule. I mean, you can't be more blatant in this sort of a communal polarization that's happening, and distorting history. So the CPIM has decided, not only in Telangana, but all over the country, the actual facts of this matter will be taken by the party during the course of this year, which is the year that the BJP has declared that they'll observe as the liberation of Hyderabad. And we are calling this the day of surrender of the Nizam of Hyderabad, surrender to the Indian Union, and recollecting the glorious armed struggle, the martyrs and the role that was played, which actually brought to the central agenda in India the entire issue of land reforms and abolition of zamindari. The abolition of zamindari laws and the land reform laws were products of such militant peasant actions that took place in other parts of the country as well. But this armed struggle was the high point of that entire post-Second World War upsurge that took place between 1945 and 47 in India. So this will be observed by us all throughout the country. The actual history will be taken to the people, exposing their distortions. So these are some of the major decisions we have taken. The Central Committee will meet in October, and then we will then take forward the momentum of the seeking the largest mobilization of secular forces against Hindutva communalism. So this is the gist of what we discussed.
Sitaram, I have a question. Sitaram, the issues which you raised in your press communique, almost similar issues, the Congress party has undertaken a Bharat Jodo Yatra. Is the CPIM bemused, or is it upset that the Congress party is going to spend 19 days in Kerala alone out of its 150 days?
Well, it's their business, It's, in a democracy, every party has the right to take its own independent actions, go to the people. So going to the people is something that is good. So everybody is doing it. We are doing it our way. I've just told you all our September campaign and our program, and what the Kisans, the trade unions and the agricultural labor are doing. The AAP is doing it in its own way on some other issue. They are taking it up. So that's absolutely the legitimate right of every party to take up programs of going to the people. There's no harm. How many days they spend where, it is their prerogative. But the fact that they are spending how many days where, that is generally known, that itself people will draw their conclusions.
बंगाल में ज़्यादातर परिस्थिति वहाँ बाइपोलर हो जा रही है बीजेपी और टीएमसी के बीच में, और सीपीएम जो शून्य पे पहुँच रही है विधानसभा में, फिर से जनसमर्थन हो रही है। क्या आपको लग रहा है कि चिंता का विषय है? अभी कुछ दिन पहले सेक्रेटेरिएट घेराव करने गई थी बीजेपी, काफ़ी हंगामा हुआ उसको लेकर के, आज भी उसको लेकर के।
देखिए, हमारे बंगाल के अंदर एक ध्रुवीकरण हो रही है, एक राजनीतिक ध्रुवीकरण हो रही है, और बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर लोगों की समर्थन आज जो है सीपीएम को और वामपंथी ताकतों को वहाँ पर मिल रही है। हमारी राजनीति है जनता तक पहुँचकर उनको लामबंद करके उनकी समस्याओं को हल करवाने की। हमारी राजनीति धमाके वाला ही नहीं है, ना जबरदस्ती मिलकर कुछ और जला दें, कुछ कर दें, ताकि ऐसे ही आप लोगों को कुछ बहाना तो नहीं चाहिए कि हमको नज़रअंदाज करेंगे और भाजपा के बारे में प्रचार करेंगे, लेकिन उसके लिए भी धमाका करके आपको बहाना भी देंगे तो वो बात अलग है। लेकिन बंगाल के अंदर हम समझते हैं कि ये बात आज साबित हो चुका है कि इतने सालों से यही ईडी, यही सीबीआई चुप क्यों बैठी थी वहाँ पे? यही एविडेंस, सबूत जो है उनके पास कई सालों से है। अब वहाँ पर इतने साल कुछ ना करिए, इसका मतलब क्या है वो भी लोग समझ रहे हैं। और आज अगर इसके बारे में आएगी, अभी बहुत कुछ पोल खुलना बाकी है। वहाँ पर बीजेपी की अपनी साजिशें हैं, और जिस तरीके की राज वहाँ पे चल रही थी तृणमूल कांग्रेस के चलते हुए, उसका पूरा का पूरा एक्सपोजर जो है वो सामने आ चुका है।
आप अपोजिशन यूनिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, आपने कहा, दादा का सवाल था कि आप लोगों ने एक ट्वीट किया कि 18 दिन केरल में बिता रहे हैं, उस पर जयराम रमेश ने आप लोगों को हालत ये पहुंची कि बीजेपी की एक दिन कह रहे हैं जयराम रमेश, बीजेपी की एक टीम। जयराम रमेश ने ट्वीट किया कि बीजेपी की एक टीम है केरल में।
यार केरल,
कल भी उन्होंने कहा कि बीजेपी और सीपीएम एक ही सिक्के के।
देखिए जो भी वो कह ले, वास्तविकता लोग भी देख रहे हैं, आप भी देखिए। केरल एकमात्र जगह है जहाँ पर बीजेपी का 0 एमएलए। किसने किया ये काम? सीपीएम और एलडीएफ वहाँ पे। और कौन किसका ए टीम है, कौन किसका बी टीम है, वो जरा नजर डालिए गोवा में क्या हो रहा है। अब समझिए ना, हमें थोड़ा अकलमंदी से सवाल पूछिए ना। माफ करो, मतलब आप गोवा को देख के तो देख लीजिए, पता है कि क्या हो रहा है।
Less than 2 years left for the election. So why is you're looking ahead of other things but not at the election?
There are less than 2 years is what you say left for the elections. There are more than 2 years left for the election is what I'll say. So the question is that I mean things will progress. I mean, things are progressing in the direction, and they'll progress. First of all, the issue is to build up the maximum mobilization of your secular forces against Hindutva, communalism, and the undermining of the Indian constitution, democracy, civil liberties of the people, and the loot of the Indian economy and Indian people's wealth. So first to build up that mobilization, then the rest will follow.
Sir, are you saying that all the other parties will stand behind the strongest party in their respective state?
You see, in every state, as it's always happened, that's why I gave the example of Tamil Nadu, that the strongest party in that state will take the lead to bring together all the secular democratic-minded parties and forge a certain electoral arrangement. It could be a front, it could be an alliance, it could be seat adjustment, whatever form it will take. But that will first happen at the state level. While at the All India level, on common issues in the defense of Indian Constitution, in the defense of the character of the Indian Republic, the secular democratic character, I mean all these parties will be together. But the electoral adjustments and arrangements will take place naturally, constituency-wise, at the state level.
So in that formula, you have to stand behind TMC.
Huh?
In that formula, you have to stand behind TMC.
Like Congress will stand behind us in Kerala.
Yes.
That will not happen. That will not happen. So why are you asking? There are certain states where it will be in a different manner. Like in Bengal, it will be the secular forces against the BJP and the TMC, while the main danger there, or everywhere in the country, it will be anti-BJP. In Kerala, it will be between the CPM-led LDF and the Congress-led UDF. Likewise, in the states, I mean, certain states will have certain, specific conditions. But overall, the sort of a situation would be where the secular democratic forces, that's why I use the word secular and democratic. The secular democratic forces will have to come together against the BJP. Where a particular ruling party is not democratic, like in Bengal, it won't be part of this effort, at least.
सर, आपने बिहार की बात की, आप नीतीश कुमार से मिले थे, विपक्षी एकता की भी बात हो रही है। इन सब के बीच बिहार में अभी काफ़ी हंगामा है कि जब से नई सरकार आई है, आरजेडी और जेडीयू, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को मर्डर, किडनैपिंग, ये अचानक से इजाफा हो गया है। फायरिंग की सरेआम घटनाएं बेगूसराय में, जहाँ आप लोग का गढ़ है पार्टी का, वहाँ भी हुआ। इस पर आपका क्या कहना है?
अब देखिए वहाँ पे क्या है, एक्चुअल घटनाओं की उसी विवरण तो हमें जानकारी नहीं है, लेकिन ये स्वाभाविक है कि इस तरीके की बातें उभरेगी और मीडिया भी इसको उछालेगी, क्योंकि बिहार के जंगल राज के आधार पर ही तो भाजपा जिंदा है वहाँ पे। अगर फिर आरजेडी सरकार में आ जाएगी तो जंगल राज कैसे नहीं आया, उनका कहना है। और आप लोग भी सहयोगी है तो मतलब वो चलता रहेगा, मतलब इस तरीके की प्रचार। लेकिन वास्तविकता क्या है, मतलब वो उसकी विवरण हमारे पास नहीं है।
17 तारीख का जिक्र किया, कल 17 तारीख है।
हाँ?
17 तारीख का आप जिक्र कर रहे थे ना, कल हैदराबाद वाला है।
हाँ।
17 तारीख कल प्रधानमंत्री का जन्मदिन भी है, और कल वो पुनू नेशनल पार्क में नामीबिया से चीते लाए गए हैं, जिनको रिलीज करेंगे व्हाइट में। जन्मदिन पालन होगा देश भर में।
अब हम क्या करें भाई, कौन सी बेट किसको पसंद है इसके बारे में हम क्या राय दें? ये हम नहीं कह पाएंगे। पुरानी हैदराबाद की बात कही, क्योंकि मेरी भी तालीम वहीं पे हुई थी, बड़ा हुआ। वहाँ पे एक कहावत है, ख्याल अपने अपने, पसंद अपनी अपनी। जिसको क्या पसंद है क्या नहीं, वो जो है वो अपना रहे। लेकिन मुबारक जन्मदिन पे तो मुबारक तो मतलब स्वाभाविक तरीके से दिया जाता है। अब
Central Minister 𝒉𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒆 accused that the industrialists are hesitant to invest in Kerala because of this Marxist ideology. They prefer UP than Kerala.
Who prefers?
The industrialists are hesitant to invest in Kerala because of this Marxist ideology. They prefer UP. These are words from 𝒉𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒍.
Yeah, this is nothing new. He is repeating an age-old, accusation against the Marxists. That is always there. If Marxists are there, industry will not come. Please ask him to answer one question. Why is Kerala the number one in the country in human development indicators? Without development, human development cannot happen. Why is it got in every single indicator? It is not only the highest in India, in many of these it surpasses the many European countries' standards. If there's no development, why is that happening? And where does UP stand? Even in your own Niti Ayog's report findings, if Kerala is at the top, UP is at the bottom. That is the reality. So whatever they may want to do their propaganda, let them. But people see through it. And that's what that is there for everybody to see. Okay? Sorry, आपको बुरा तो नहीं लगा ना? हाँ? नहीं मैं इसलिए हाँ? ना सही बात है। अगर किसी को माइंड करना है तो उनको माइंड करना है। That's up to them to decide. Up to Mr. Nitish Kumar to decide what it will be. We are, as far as we are concerned, we are going as a political party with the JDU led by Nitish Kumar. Now, who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, and I think Mr. Nitish Kumar has also dealt with such people earlier, and I'm sure he'll deal with them again.
So will you be attending 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒍's event on September 25th?
Yes. So I'll be going there. Now as I told you, things will start moving, the ball will keep rolling. So Fatima.
In UP election, many parties, Christian parties are demanded for caste census. So, caste census. So, what's the chance on maybe about the caste census?
No, caste census, we said it is required. I mean, right now, because never have we actually assessed the reality of what is the numbers behind the caste. Even the OBC, the Mandal Commission, that was also on the basis of its own survey, the Commission's own thing, where it estimated 52. But then only 27, 1/2 was given, not to breach the 50% mark in reservations. But what is the actual thing? Claims, counterclaims all happen without actually knowing what is the real numbers. Now, the other point is that your 2021 caste census, your general census, has not been held. COVID, etc., yes. Last century, when we had the plague pandemic, even then the census was held. But now, this time it didn't, and I think the first time there's a break in the census not being held since it started, nearly 150 years ago now. So we think a general census must be held soon, because that is very, very important for policy directions, policy interventions. So along with that, this can also be done.
How do you see the role of Congress in this secular democratic opposition in India at the national level?
Well, at the national level, that will, as I said, first let the state level things happen, only then it will come the national level. National level you can only keep on, because never, you please understand our own history of our own politics in our country. Let's not go back to 77, Janata Party. That was also, the government was formed only after the 77 election. Indira Gandhi was defeated. And that formation that formed the government, including the CFD of 𝒃𝒂𝒂𝒍, that came into existence only after the election. Don't go back that far. Go to 96. 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒍 was the Prime Minister. The United Front that formed the government with 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒍 as the Prime Minister was formed after the election. 1998, Vajpayee became the Prime Minister. The NDA that was formed, that made Vajpayee the Prime Minister, was formed after the election. 2004, Manmohan Singh became the Prime Minister. The UPA was formed after the election. Likewise, that is the nature of Indian political system, because this is a parliamentary system of election, not a presidential form.
UPA 2 was re-election. UPA 2. It went with Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister.
But that was the continuing election. When a government change came, whenever a government change came, Congress government was changed by the United Front government. United Front was changed by the NDA government. NDA was changed by the UPA government. So whenever the change comes, the alternative formation came after the election.
Just a supplementary question. Sitaram, while the left parties are going to take the initiative, as the state for bringing the democratic and secular parties together, there are other parties as well. For example, KCR, 𝒃𝒂𝒂𝒍, or even Mamata Banerjee, they are making their own efforts to bring the parties, bring the opposition parties together. How do you look at these efforts? Do you think it will be complementary to the CPIM effort, or
they are not contradictory. KCR, I can tell you, I don't know about what Bengal CM is doing, but KCR is in talks with us. He's also in talks, we are cooperating with him in Telangana. In the current by-elections, the left parties are supporting KCR's candidate in order to defeat the BJP. So, as I said, at the state level, these things are happening.
सर आप लोग पहले भी सर देवीलाल वाले प्रोग्राम में आप लोग पहले भी किसी साल गए हैं या पहली बार?
पहली बार मैंने देवीलाल जी को तो संवर्धन उस जमाने से किए थे हम, वो जो प्रधानमंत्री भी थे, तब भी हमारी समर्थन थी। तो
प्रोग्राम तो हर साल होता है, तो आपको पहले
नहीं, ये पहली साल में वो बुला रहे हैं सबको। चौटाला साहब ये खुद आए थे, मतलब आमंत्रण करने, मतलब भाई भी उनसे कह रहा था इतने बुजुर्ग होते हुए हमसे कह देते हम ही आ जाते, जब चलने में भी दिक्कत होती है। लेकिन ये पहली बार उन्होंने इतनी बड़ी तादाद में आमंत्रण किया बाकी लोगों को, इसलिए उसमें तो हम जा रहे हैं। ठीक, थैंक यू।